Ma'am, shall we start, ma'am?
We can start, ma'am. Sir,
Okay,
shall
ma'am.
we start, sir? Sir, shall we start, sir? Sarat Babu, sir.
Yeah, sure. Hello. I am being muted, organizer. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir. Shall we start the
Okay,
meeting,
good.
sir?
Sure, you can. Thanks.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Ma'am, shall we start, ma'am?
No. Indu, can you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Now I can hear you, ma'am. Shall we start the meeting,
Oh.
ma'am?
Yeah, we will start, ma'am. All the best.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I hope all are safe. I welcome you all for this wonderful webinar on Android Insights. I request Dr. L. Nalini Joseph, Vice Principal and HOD of EC Department, Loyola Institute of Technology, to give welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Indu. Good morning. On behalf of Loyola Institute of Management, Administrator, Principal, we wholeheartedly welcome all the participants all over India. On behalf of you, we, the coordinators, welcome the speaker of today's session, Mr. Sarat Babu Munikrishnan, consultant, consultancy services, who has accepted the invitation to conduct this webinar on Android Insights. We welcome you, sir. In this contest, I congratulate all the coordinators of this webinar, faculty members of ECE, and professional friends who made this happen. Dear participants, once again, I welcome you for this technical webinar. Have a technical day. Thank you. Over to Indumati, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Mrs. Priyadashini, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, to introduce our speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, all. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, Mr. Sarat Babu Munikrishnan, who is presently working as a consultant in Tata Consultancy Services Limited. He is an Android developer and has of 20 years experience in various software concerns such as Hexaware, Infosys, and cybersecurity related technologies. And also, he has an exposure to work at various client locations like Canada, USA, UK, Saudi Arabia, and Dubai. We welcome you, sir. Over to Indu, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, the most awaited session of the day. Let us go to enhance our knowledge in Android technology. Now, I request Mr. Sarat Babu Munikrishnan, sir, to take us in his journey. Over to you, sir.
Indu, ma'am, kindly record the program.
Okay, ma'am.
Thanks for the introduction.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, thanks for the introduction. So let's start. So the idea is, instead of getting into very high-level basics, right? So I thought, like, why not we talk about features that are available in Android, but which nobody, many people doesn't discuss about, right? So I thought, why don't we conduct such kind of a presentation, which will talk about other areas of Android. Other things. So let us go through what it is. So thanks for giving this opportunity. Let us start. Give me a second. Yeah, okay. So hope all of you can hear. Yeah. So okay. So what is special? What is special about Android? That's the first topic we're going to talk about. Then what are the hardwares available in Android? What is the history? How in Play Store it is categorized? What are the different development tools that we can use to develop Android programming? To start with, right, like what resources that you have. I mean, instead of starting from scratch, right? So you can start looking at others' code, how they've developed, what the apps are there, what can be, reused, right? So we have came up with some list of items, resources that you could utilize to start your development, Android development things if you're a startup. And then like other ideas, this is my personal thoughts. I came up with few ideas that which we could focus on, those ideas that we could think about, or you can come up with your own ideas. But these are my thoughts of what are the different apps that we could develop, kind of thing. And then we also would like to go through interesting and unconventional apps. And then like Play Store review. That's the idea. This is the topic of today. Let's start with Android Special. What's Android Special? So for this, I mean, generally, if it is a face-to-face meeting or a meeting, right? So generally, I used to have an interactive session. So we thought we'll try something new, right? So here, I mean, just ping in the chat. What do you think? What is special? I mean, what is not special? Also, you can type in the chat, and what you like the most in Android, what you don't like the most in the Android, and what is your point of view about Android speciality, right? So maybe we'll give the 45 seconds time for you to post that in your chat, which will give interact, right? So this will give a bondage between you and me in the meeting to understand how interested you are and how important you are taking this session as well, right? So just put your chat message with thought process about this. Yeah, time starts now. We'll wait for 45 seconds and then we'll take that inputs.
One Miss Amala SP has given, sir, open source and user friendly.
Okay. Good.
The participants can give your views, what the sir has asked in the chat box. We will read it out.
The question I can repeat again. What is your thought of why Android is special or not? It's not a special one. I mean, either of this case. And I just see like now, like what provoked you to join this meeting? So for others who
Participants
joined,
can share your answers here. Amala SP has given, it's open source and user friendly. Others can share what the sir has asked. One Mr. Paramasalam has written that is easily understand. The other person has asked, Android is user friendly. Indu Shine as represented is a portable, user friendly, like a computer. Mr. Surender has mentioned it reduces the cost of smartphones and available for all to user friendly. So these are the answers that comes so far. Easily
Good,
accessible or connect like a thing. With the help of technology, we can do many things easily. Android is one of them, which is multi-purpose. Many gadgets are available in Android. All the latest feature. Shalini has mentioned, and Sai Chopde only has given the thing. And Satya has mentioned as multiple access. Ramya has mentioned as Android has its best features. SP Priya has mentioned it is number one in smartphone OS. Hari Prasad has mentioned is often updated with the latest features. People are easy. Hari Krishna is saying it's easy to even illiterate, sorry. Improvement and new controls. Android is very user friendly. Dimple has mentioned multi-language support. Nandini has written as user friendly Android. OS is used in mobile phones. Kavin Kumar has written makes most of the Internet of Things. George Janita has mentioned it is an open source software. Sankesh has written there are many Android app developers. Ramya has written as Android provides a rich application framework. Rajeshwari has written as customization. Sai Chopde has written as useful for the people who do things that cannot be done by human. And Ms. R. Pavitra says supports multitasking with many features, sir. Sahab Khan has mentioned as is done with in few seconds. Amala SP has written widely used mobile OS, then best processor and all the latest features, sir. Aksharata and Katiyar. Pavitra has written as Android has a good revision like CU, MIUI and mobile phone manufacturing. One Mr. Rajesh says most affordability. And Prashant VS says fast and adapted to all application. Android lets you to ping your own level of customization. Any more chat you want, sir? Open source software, modified version of Linux is Shamal has written. Srikanth Reddy has written as easy to download and update.
Okay, so I think we have a very good
wonderful response, sir.
Yeah, so nice.
You can
yeah, so we will stop here. I agree. Most of them have given a positive thing about Android. Of course, it is. So when you compare, I don't want to compare it with iOS. We'll keep it separate. That is a different topic. So with Android, okay. So what is before Android? What was happening before Android without the mobile? I mean, the internet world was there till, it started in 1995, right? I mean, the peak of internet was almost started during 90s. And then like we are now in 2020, but the mobile phone market started picked up only during 2008-7, like during that time, right? So before that, right, or before Android came into picture, still the internet was there, the mobiles were there, right? So why those phones were not very popular, or what was the feature that was lagging in the previous phones? Let's say, for example, Nokia or other phones that we used to have, right, which was not supporting Android that time, right? There were a lot of phones were there, right? Samsung also did not supported Android in the initial stage. Right? There were a lot of phones without Android, right? So what is the difference between a phone with Android and without Android? So what makes it very special? What is special about Android? So obviously everybody knows the answer, that we got a Play Store, right? Earlier, the phone that comes with predefined apps, the phones you cannot add additional apps. Only the manufacturer, whatever apps, he will put one app for calling application, one for phone book, one for some small games, and only predefined thing could be loaded. And once it is loaded and sold, you don't have option to load additional applications on top of it, right? Even if you want to develop one, right? So there were some OSs, mobile OSs, which were supporting where now you could customize Symbian or all. A lot of other OSs were supporting writing apps, but however, it was very tedious, very difficult task to learn that language, construct an app and push it to phone and start using it, right? So it was very, very difficult. So with Android in place, right? So which allows, right, to write your own app or you can download an app which was already developed by someone else, and they have a platform called App Store where they can put that apps, right? Prior to that also, there were apps. The apps were talking to phone, the hardware, and then it was providing solution. But one thing that is different is Android provides way that you can orchestrate the hardware, what is available with you. So you buy a phone, right? Say, for example, you buy a phone without Android, before this Android or iOS technologies, right? So all the hardware that you have, right, you cannot control. Whatever apps that is already designed, only those apps that can orchestrate or talk to the hardware and help you using that app. Now, what if I want to use the hardwares that are available? Because I bought this phone, it is my mission, right? So it is my phone. I have all the capability. I should have a control of orchestrating this hardware based on my need, right? So that's where this is the interesting thing started with this Android and iOS both, right? Even iPhone has got the capability to now you can write your own app and then put it on the phone and start using the hardware. When I say hardware, we will discuss about that hardware, what we are talking about. So this is the idea. So the very basic fundamental difference, what is so special is I can control my hardware by writing my own app, or I can find a suitable app that was developed by someone else and made available in App Store. Or, there are some people, say for example, in our organization, they don't put apps in Android App Store, but we have our own store, right? Our company has got a lot of Android apps that we use to put timesheet or validate, a lot of things we use, right? So we don't put that in App Store. We have our own App Store, right, where we put that. It's just an APK file, which you can download from anywhere, a website also, if someone is hosting that. It's not that you should always post in App Store. You can download it from, yeah.
Sir, are you not moving the screen? The same screen only are you using, no? Android, what special this? Okay.
Yeah, right. So, so that's the point. So what's so special in my perspective? I have control of hardware, what I purchased. I can write my own app, or I can use apps that is already available to utilize the apps in the form I need, the way I need. Yeah, so you have so many hardwares as part of Android. When you purchase, right, you have a lot of hardwares as part of the Android phone you have. Let us go through some of them, which are very important and which you may not know, right? Okay, the first interesting hardware is accelerometer. This is a hardware which will inform Android, or it will you can write your app to detect if there is a movement of phone when it is shaken or shaked or moved, right? You can get the feed that to your program so that you can write your program accordingly. Phone is shaked, what should I do? Should I switch off the light? Should I switch off the light? Or whatever it is, you can code in your program. So this is mostly used now, the accelerometers are used, right, in the games and all, right? So certain games will use this thing, right? So you can shake your mobile to play, to put as if you are giving some input to the game, right? So that is controlled by accelerometer. If this is not there, you cannot, the hardware will not be able to sense the movement or shake feedback to your phone. And then thus that the app cannot get the feedback, and then app may not be able to utilize this functionality. Then there is another hardware called gyroscope. Okay, it uses the rotational motion, right? So, for example, when you turn your mobile, right? So landscape and portrait, you normally keep your phone upside down. The front-facing view, right? If you put a 90-degree tilt the phone, automatically the screen image will be changing, right? So gyroscope is the hardware that informs that the phone has been changed in a vertical way or horizontal way, so that your program, that Android program, can lift, turn the screen accordingly. And are being utilized by the Android OS, TV, or any gadgets that uses IR as an input, say even AC, right? You want to switch off your AC, right? So then you can use this thing. And again, fingerprint, right? So you have a hardware fingerprint nowadays in most of the mobiles, right? So yeah, this is something like, so very interesting hardwares which are available, which could be utilized for our need based on the requirement. And there are already apps available, but if you think you want to come up with some your own ideas of apps, you can use these hardwares to develop things. I mean, the conventional apps, I'm not talking here because there are a lot of apps, say for example, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, like all these apps, right? So that uses like the internet, and it's a different thing. I'm talking about hardwares, what other hardwares are available. I want to touch upon things that we could try. Many people unnoticed it, right? So that's what I want to try in this presentation. Yeah, and others, right? Say for example, by default, you have touchscreen, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, torch, GPS, camera. All these controls, all this hardware can be controlled. So that's about the hardware. Any questions with respect to this hardware slide? You want to ask any questions on this? Yeah, so okay, they explain proximity sensor. I told you, right? Take a phone, dial someone, dial your friend, the light will be glowing. Keep your phone near your ear, right? Automatically the light will go off. And then you again bring it in front of you, automatically the lights will go off. It will be switched on, right? You will be able to see the display properly. So how it is happening is through proximity sensor. You can test it. You can keep your hand very near to phone, the lights will go away while on the call, okay? Not without the call. So just dial somebody and just keep your hand. The proximity sensor will detect that like when a human body is very nearby, it detects that like somebody is on call. The person is on the call, so it should switch off the light. When I say switch off the light, the screen will not be appearing, but still the phone is on. Barometer hardware is installed in all Android. Yes, you just check in your any phone spec, right? You just go and check, Google it, Android. When you get the phone, right? Whenever you want to buy a phone, you always look for what is the cost, right? So that is the first tag that we check. But you can also check whether it has got a OTG cable. So that we will discuss about a few more things. Where I buy an Android phone, what I look is what are the hardwares it is available. And it has got IR blaster, it has got a OTG connection capability, so that I can connect to my external keyboard and type, and I can connect to printer and print, and there are a lot of features. So first you should understand the specifications of your phone, what are they and what are the use of it, and how best I can utilize. Because we buy phone with, we buy for the hardware that is already part of it, for which we are not utilizing it. Right, we are paying for something which we are not utilizing. So whenever you want to buy a phone, you should understand whether it's really required. Would I be using it? Only then you should take a call to buy that. Okay. So shall I go ahead with the next step? Next slide. Any questions so far? Okay. 1 second, please.
Sir, many questions are there in the chat box. We'll discuss in the end, sir. You can continue the session.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
We are noted down, sir, all the questions. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So let's quickly go through the list of Android versions that came up. So it started in 2008. Android version 1 came, and then 1.1 in 2009. And then they started naming every Android version with a dessert name. So cupcake, donut, eclair, froyo, gingerbread, honeycomb, ice cream sandwich, jelly bean, Kit Kat. I mean, all these versions came, right? So the new one, which is the latest, I mean, most of the phones now, I mean, we'll be having Android 10. Android 11 beta version is available now, yet to be part of any phones. So yeah, these are the different Android softwares are there, right? So what does this mean? Like, why we need different versions of Android? What is the improvement they are showing? Okay, to answer that, okay, so first version of Android had Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support. But Bluetooth auto pairing was not there. So in 1.5 version, they have added the Bluetooth auto pairing and stereo support in the Bluetooth. And then we got in 2.2, we got a Wi-Fi hotspot feature. So that means every time the OS is adding capabilities in the phone to utilize, and they also support the new hardwares, and this OS will interact with those hardwares and provide inputs to the program. Any apps that you see, right, in the phone is also developed by, it's also, I mean, the apps that is already part of phone is also an app, right? It is also developed in Android program. I mean, in Android language, the program language. And it is inbuilt in your phone. You don't need to download from Play Store. The phone is not, with phone, first they have the hardware and then they install the OS and then they will preload certain apps. Samsung will add preloaded apps. Some other vendor will have their own preloaded apps for calling. The basic apps will be part of the package when you purchase your phone. Say calling app or Google Assistant or Google Drive. I mean, each phone company will have their own way of adding what should be packaged as part of the phone. Otherwise, but you have an option to download from Play Store the latest version, or something that you don't want to use this app and you want to come up with the app that is available in Play Store. Yes, you can still feel free to download and use it. So the point is, so they were introducing more hardware support in the new versions of Android. So for example, in 2.2, Eclair, they gave Wi-Fi hotspot. Before that, you cannot use your phone to connect. Say, for example, now we are using this Wi-Fi hotspot feature, right? Most of you would be utilizing this Wi-Fi hotspot feature to connect your laptop or machine to Wi-Fi, right? This feature came in 2.2. And then you have something called USB tethering. Say, for example, your desktop, you don't have internet, okay? So how do you connect? I mean, you don't have a LAN cable to connect your desktop to connect. So how do you connect to internet? And also assume that your desktop doesn't have a Wi-Fi in it, right? So you have an option called USB tethering. You connect your phone and the desktop USB cable, and in phone you can choose option called USB tethering, so that the mobile data, what is the internet available in your phone, could be utilized by your desktop. You don't need to have a Wi-Fi receiver in your desktop to connect to a Wi-Fi router and use internet. You just need a cable, and then you can connect, enable USB tethering, and then you can start using. And then in 2.3, we got this NFC, near field communication, right? So this is a hardware, a new hardware that now that will sense things that are available near. I mean, when you keep the phone near to the say poster or something, right? So it will read things. It can detect, and then they can provide some information. And version 3.0, we got a multi-core processor support. One second, please. 1 second. Hang on. Sorry for the interrupt. So we got multi-core processor support in 3.0, and in Android 4.0 we got this Wi-Fi Direct. Two mobile phone can connect between themselves through Wi-Fi. That's an interesting thought. Say, for example, your Share It app, right? So you use Wi-Fi to, usually Wi-Fi is used to connect to a Wi-Fi router, right? So now this Wi-Fi is, if you switch on the Wi-Fi, two phones, right, can be connected together using that Wi-Fi thing, and then they can communicate. Because Bluetooth, if you connect, now the speed rate is very slow. Whereas if you connect through Wi-Fi, it is very fast. So the Share It and all, right, uses that technology using Wi-Fi Direct thing to connect and share data. And in 4.4, we got this infrared blaster, IR blaster, right? Before that, it was not there. So when you choose, which Android version you should use, right? I mean, now it is not required because most of the phones comes with the latest Android. But however, you need to first decide on the hardware that you need. What is the purpose? And accordingly, you should make your investment. Then 5.1, we got this multiple SIM card support. And in 6, we got this fingerprint support. And in 10, we got this WPA3 Wi-Fi security protocol. I mean, what is new? With 10, when you want to connect to a Wi-Fi, there is a new protocol, secure protocol, WPA3. Prior to those protocols, right, it's not very secured. It is high likely to be hacked when you use that protocol. It is possible that somebody can leak. I mean, the data could be taken away, and then while it is being transferred between your phone and the Wi-Fi router, it can be trapped, right? So with WPA3, this is less likely. So that version is coming up in the Android 10. Right, so like that. So first, I think you will get this PPT, or you can Google Wikipedia, right? I mean, this is not something that I have composed. Somebody has done for me. So it's very good article which talks about all the Android versions, what features they have added, what hardware they have added, what supports they have added in each of them, right? So you can use that. Okay, so that's about, I'm doing a time check. Okay, 11:40. Okay, we'll quickly go to the next topic. Categorization, right? So if you want to write an app, or if you want to download an app from Play Store, there are different categories you have, right? So sports side, social media, shopping, productivity, photography, personalization. So I mean, so for example, you want an app for which area? First, you think about the category. Then, say for example, medical related apps, you choose the medical category and search for your apps. So like that, there's a categories. So if you want to develop an app also, you can think, okay, in which category I should develop first. And then what hardwares and all I should use. What is the feature that I want to give? How it should be? Who would be the target audience? Like what is the requirement of my app? I mean, all those things you can think about it. This category will help to understand if already the apps are available in line what you are thinking. You can check in an app store. You can go and search your apps against these categories. There are more categorization. I've just put what is available, few items. Yeah. So Android development tools. If you want to develop Android, first link developer.android.com.studio. You go through there. You will get Android Studio software, which has got all the IDE, integrated development environment, to develop your Android programs. And it has also got an emulator. That means you can simulate what you would be doing in a phone, right? So, or you can also connect your desktop with the Android phone using the USB cable. And then in the Android phone, if you put this development tools option, developer options enabled, You can also control, you can run your app, what is there in your PC in the phone. There are a lot of utilities tools available which helps you to quickly test, develop, and do things in Android. So most of the articles are there in this. Yeah, I've tried to collect the interesting links that you could utilize quickly to start your work if you want to really start your Android programming things. So Android Studio, Eclipse, Fabric, there are a lot of tools available. So, but you can start with Android Studio. That's more simple and easy. And for game, right? So, for example, game developers also now like that is it has got a different IDE. So game in Unity and Unreal. So I've not used it, but you can try it. So if you want to develop a game, right? So you can use these IDEs to see now like how to develop things. That's the idea. Go to the next slide. Android resources. This is a very interesting thing which I want to share. Let me click this link. One second, please. I'm not able to share this window. Pausing screen share.
Hello.
Okay. So this is interesting page. I mean, actually, I started here. Android software. Let's say, for example, Google develops the Android OS, and they also add basic apps. What is available, right? All the program you can check. I will close this window. Share something else. And
I have the mic near your near to you, sir. Okay.
yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sir. It's now it's audible.
Okay. So last few sessions, few slides. Quickly, I'll go through. I thought now, like, why not we use IR Blaster for your home appliance? Right, a small app where it can control your TV or air condition accordingly. Right, you have the hardware. You are a student. I mean, ECE student. I mean, I'm sure you should start learning programming. It's very important that you start learning programming. It is not difficult. Remember that. It's very easy. You should just have interest and have some aim. Say, for example, you take one project, think about it and start doing it. You will learn while you travel towards that aim, right? You will also learn the language. Don't try to learn the language and start doing things, though it is, I mean, you need to know how the fundamentals, but I prefer now, like, you can also start going towards the goal on where you can learn the language. So that is my thought process for ECE students. I mean, maybe computer students with no background is easy for them, but I'm sure that is not very difficult. You should definitely try doing it. That is one I thought. Now these are the apps that I thought. Another thing that I thought is thermometer-based app to check room temperature and control air condition through IR blaster. Right. So, for example, you want to switch off your AC after some point of time with this temperature is there and all. Right. So, though the AC remote has got some features, but why don't you try this? I mean, this will give you an interesting game kind of thing, right? So instead of playing games, we can code and play game. I mean, play that with that app, right? That would be more useful, right? So it will give you an idea of how you can develop and things like that. Class attendance recording. I don't know if it already exists. There may be some apps already available in Play Store, but I thought, like, why don't you develop something and give it to your teachers, right? So they open the app and then they record the attendance. They keep all the, let's say 72, but let's say your class has 72 students, right? So while I don't know whether still the roll call is happening in the class, but if that is still happening, probably like whoever is absent, she can just click the button. He or she can click the button whoever is absent, so that like it is recorded and sent directly to HOD or whatever it is. Every day, session name and all you can click, and nothing, just set up buttons, and whichever button it is clicked, you make it as off, and then you record that that person is not available and on that day for that session, whatever it is, right? Something thought you can bring it on your own, because you should know what are the hardware available and then start using it. And I've seen many people, right, they lend money, but they don't know how to calculate their interest, right? So why don't you write an app to them and tell how to use it? I'm not telling they're always about a conventional apps. Right? I want to write an app and help others, right, to do their day-to-day activities, so business well. There are a lot of people who lend money, right, for meager interest or whatever it is, but they don't know how to calculate. Or the other person also would not know whether when he lend the money, he does not know. Yeah. So you can also say, for example, you are lending a money, right? You can use this app to make sure that the interest rate that has been calculated by the lender is correct, right? Why don't you develop an app and give it to your parents or your friends who are lending money or who lend money, right? So like that, you can think about it. And similarly, I thought something new today. App to take grocery lists. Say, for example, I have to take. Today I have to purchase certain things. So you can create a simple screen with the drop downs of all the items, and then choose how much you want, and put that in an app, and then store it. And you can also print. I've given a link where you can print through Android phone over wireless if you have a wireless printer. Recent printers have Wi-Fi capability, so your Android phone can also connect to the Wi-Fi printer and give. So your app can print, so that like the grocery list can be taken in a paper. If your parents are buying now, they're not used to a phone, right? So you can print it in the paper and then you can give that. And again, another thought I was thinking about, like grocery price compare. Let's say, for example, I buy something, okay, today. So I go and buy a purchase. So put the cost in the app for how much you purchased, right? And similarly, if every people around your area, right, start doing it from where they purchase, what is the cost of that, right? So you can compare again, like what others are buying for the same product, how much is the cost. You can do a cost comparison, right, to see like which shop is giving better and all those things. So you can do such aggregated thought, right? How you can utilize, because everybody is carrying phone, everybody has got internet, right? So the power of phone, how you can utilize to help. See, there are people who, say if this is a very big business, they write app because they get benefit out of it, right? But there are people who are illiterate, but they do small business, but they don't know how to use it, how to develop it. I'm targeting them. Why don't, as a student, right, you can find such requirements and see how you can help and develop things. Again, the last one is I thought about CHIT, right? Many people, many of your areas or place I grow, right? So the people put the CHIT, right? So monthly, how much I should pay, and reminders for paying the monthly payment, and all you can develop and give them, right? There are apps available, but maybe they may not be, it has got too much of features in it which the people may not be able to use, right? So understand. I always suggest a tailor-made apps which will best suit, because you should understand the other person's requirement well, how well they can, I mean, how tech savvy that they can use phones. Accordingly, you can develop how this button should be, how the UI feature should be, so that you can take the input, process it, and show it, send reminders and all, right? So think about it. I mean, these are my thoughts. You can come back with your own ideas and help mid-level business people who don't have, I mean, your friends, so many people are there. Try to see how you can help developing an app to them. This is the, I mean, because now when you develop an app, I mean, in our college days, we used to write ascending order, descending order kind of assignments, right? So those are more technical in nature. Nobody will use it. It cannot be used, right? So what about something, an app we can, I mean, aim of doing something for somebody where it adds value to them. It gives bonding to you and that person, so that like he will come back to you. Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you add this feature? And help his business running properly, right? And then if things are working good, put it in Play Store, so that now people can start using it, and then they can also pay for it, right? When they purchase the app. Think about it. This is my thought to provoke your interest in Android programming and scope of. I mean, I see a big scope. It's not an Android program. I'm targeting only the other sectors which nobody touched. Right? Think about it and try to help them. Yeah, I saw some other apps which are interesting. I say, for example, you want to take a phone call from PC. That means your phone does. I mean, you have some apps available in Windows. You have to install an app, and you have to install an app in your phone. If you do that, you can make phone from your machine desktop, which will use your mobile to call, and then the sound of the mobile will be coming into your laptop. And similarly, the mic output of your laptop will go to your mobile, and then it goes to the target person. So you don't need to touch your phone. You just keep the phone aside, use your machine to call, which will, I mean, end of the day, now you need to understand how it works and all, right? So it uses Wi-Fi to connect between the desktop and the phone, and then the audio and video, the audio and the your mic signal and will be sent, and the audio signal that is sent to the phone will send to the other party, and similarly the received audio signal will send back to your phone desktop through phone, and then you will hear it from your desktop audio speaker, right? There's certain things. Have you ever thought a vibrator in your phone could be utilized for a lot of apps? Just check in Google Play Store. Just check vibrator apps. A lot of apps available that helps. Actually, they are using the apps to massage. I mean, so you can keep your phone and I mean inside, I mean, your shirt pocket or something. It vibrates and it massages it. Have you ever thought such apps would exist? Yeah, I mean, just a thought. I mean, unconventional apps. I was thinking. I want to let you know that, like, how it came. It's all about, you should understand what are the hardwares available, how I could utilize those hardwares to write my program so that it give some value to the user. And also a Wi-Fi keyboard, right? So you can use your keyboard to connect your, if you have a Wi-Fi keyboard, you can use that to connect to your Android phone and type. I mean, there are ways to do it. I mean, you can check that on the link. But, I mean, my point is, it's not just calling through Android phone. You need to explore what are the things available, how I can best utilize, how I help people developing app and all. So that's the point. So that's it from my side. I think time check 11:59. I completed it. So, I mean, hope it was interesting. Let me know, or give your feedback. Yeah, I'm done, ma'am. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, sir. You have motivated us to develop apps. Sure, this will help the students to develop their own apps. Thanks for the wonderful session, sir. It was very informative and insightful. Now we have come to question and answer session. Many participants are posting the queries in YouTube and GoToMeeting chat box. Now I hand over the session to Mrs. Uma, ma'am.
Thank you, Indu. It was a nice presentation, sir. Thank you. We have lot of questions from GoToMeeting chat box. Since we have very less time, we will go through only few questions, and rest will be answered through mail. The first question is from Mr. Nahendra Reddy. The question is, what are the tools are placed in an Android SDK, software development kit? Sir, are able to? Hello, sir.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. Can you repeat that question?
What are the tools are in an Android SDK, software development kit?
Okay, what is SDK? SDK is a program. So, for example, see, when you write your program, SDK is the core library of Android, right? So you will use those packages in your program to call them, right? Without the SDK, you cannot. I mean, the import packages, right, that you import in your Java program, the Android program, right? So you import those SDK libraries to call the appropriate hardware or appropriate programs already available, right, through the program, right? So there's no tools available. I mean, you see, when you install Android Studio, right, this is an IDE, right? Android SDK is part of it. I mean, it will be already available, right? So you will start writing your program, which using, I mean, you will import all the, let's say, for example, you want to trigger a torchlight on or off, right? So for that, you need to identify the library which is available in SDK, import it, and call that appropriate code in your program. Because the library will be there, you need to call the appropriate functions or the class. You need to instantiate objects for the appropriate libraries, and then you call those functions so that the particular hardware things can be utilized, or whatever you can do, and accordingly it can be done. It's more technical in nature, your question. So if you start developing programs, so download Android SDK, I mean Android Studio, which will SDK will be already part of it, and start developing some sample programs, simple programs, then you would understand it better.
Okay, sir. Thank you. The next question is from Shalini. The question is, sometimes Android works slowly. What is the reason? Also, she asked how to recognize which Android is best.
Correct. So Android is slow is mostly because your memory is not available. Your phone has got less memory, or you have a lot of apps that is already open. That's the only few reasons that I see. Because Android requires a memory properly. I'm talking about RAM, right? So if a lot of programs are loaded, right? So then you need to close all the apps that are not used, right? So that it can have less memory spaces available, so that new apps can be quickly loaded, right? So that's the one. The second question is, what is the second question?
How to recognize which Android is best?
You have to, I mean, we can't recognize what is best. I mean, end of the day, it has been tested and the features are there. End of the day, it talks to the hardware and it provides the inputs. They fix the bugs and all. So, I mean, it's up to you to understand what hardware you want to use, right? Say, for example, you want a WPA support, then you go for it. Then you want to, you go for Android 10, right? So all these things now you have to take a call, not by looking at the name, right? It's about looking at the hardware it can support, looking at the feature it can support, right? That's how you should go for it. There is nothing called the best Android thing. I mean, some I'm not saying, every Samsung phone came up with all the latest Android versions, right? So everybody used it. There could be some deficiencies, but something which would have been fixed by the hardware. There could be problem with the hardware also, which would cause this issue. But yeah, it's up to the requirement. I don't know how to tell what is best.
Okay, sir. Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Mahendran. The question is, USB tethering is allowed from Windows 7 version only and not for XP. We need any software for XP version?
So it is USB tethering is a capability of your desktop, right? Your phone has got a USB. USB. You should have both the feature. Both side it should have a compatibility, not just your phone. Phone has got USB tethering option, but the other side, the desktop, right? It should also have that capability available in that OS or the desktop that you have, right? The hardware capability. Mostly the hardware will have that capability. The OS may not have that capability. I'm not sure that I don't have that feature, but yeah, it's up to the capability of the OS whether it is available or not. You cannot have an Android app installed in your Windows machine to do this, because Windows cannot have Android app installed on that machine, right? When you say, do we have any app? No, this is not app feature. It is a hardware feature of Android phone. USB tethering is one of the hardware and software, a kind of a both feature, right? So which allows, whenever you're connected to USB, it detects and shares the internet over USB. You should accept it in Android phone. In the settings, you should go and enable USB tethering. If you do that, then the phone will start sharing the internet from your phone to the desktop or wherever you are connected the wire. It's not necessarily a desktop. It could be another phone also. I don't know. As long as the phone can detect that input and make use of that USB tethered internet data for that device, right? So you cannot have an app for that. You should understand where it works. So if say we are talking about USB tethering, so it is supported in Android app, and you cannot have an app in a desktop, the PC that you have, right? It's not an Android app that can be installed on XP, right? So or something like that. So understand that combination, who are the items that are involved, and see, you should answer yourself whether it is possible or not. I'm just giving a provoking thought, but my point is, if there is no special hard app that you can install in Windows to do this.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And next frequently asked question is, which version is fast, easy, and safe to use in Android mobile?
Always it is latest, I will tell, because the latest only will have a better patch, better security vulnerability fixed, right? To keep using the old ones, it is always difficult, because there could be hackers who would have already written code to, they would have identified the threats, the vulnerabilities inside that app, and then or on the phone, and then they would have hacked it, right? So and there are people who identify that vulnerabilities available and people hacking, identifying it, right? So I always prefer a latest stable version of Android. Is a better option.
Okay, sir. Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. We also have questions from YouTube. Mrs. Pavitra will be walking through YouTube questions. Over to Pavitra.
Thank you, ma'am. So you have just delivered us an outstanding presentation, and participants are asking queries in YouTube stream. I've just picked up few questions for you to answer. The first question was asked by Mrs. Elila Rasi. What is the difference in usage of Android and Apple? Why people goes crazy in buying Apple mobiles, though Android versions are upgraded? Is there any hardware implications, lag, or anything?
Difficult question to answer. Android, Apple is very, they are very strong in their hardware, right? And of course the software also. And it is not, to me, if as long as the purpose is solved, is fine. There are people who require the best quality, right? So they want a very good sound quality. They want very good consistency, the phone connections and all. But there's always a cost involved, right? Because their hardwares are like maybe very properly integrated, highly tested, and they were into this industry for long, right? They were used to have a Mac PCs and all, which is, I mean, even those days, right? 80s, 90s also, during those days itself, they had a very small PCs, Mac PCs, right? So highly integrated. Their boards are very, very modular, right? So they have multi-layer boards and all. They developed all those days. I mean, they have the background of coming up with an excellent hardware, and every time they go with a high-notch quality and all, right? So I mean, you talk about iPod or Shuffle, they came up with all those things, right? It's all like they go with the best thing, right? So their hardwares are always best. But considering the cost factor, right? So I go with Android. I mean, I always prefer Android. Considering the cost, the quality perspective, if you have, if you're not worried about money, and then Apple is good. But still, being an Indian, I prefer to go with. I mean, I go with the purpose. I mean, many people like us, right? So, is it solving our purpose? So, is it able to make phone call? Am I able to do things, basic things that I'm supposed to do using that device? Is that not sufficient? I mean, there are people who buy for craze, and there are a lot of other factors available. I don't want to tell here, but yeah, it's up to individual's preference. Yeah, technologically and hardware-wise, they are good. The quality and all, they are good. But the affordability perspective, Android is the best, and not. I mean, but they are on par to them. They are not very. The quality-wise, it's not that they are 100%. We are 40%. We are near to them, but not like 30%, 40%. It's more than that. That's my point. I mean, it's not an online answer. Sorry. So it's you know the answer, but you're still asking this question. But fine. This is my answer.
Thank you, sir. It was wonderfully answered. And the next question from Ms. Reshma: is Android application only be programmed in Java?
Yes, there is another language called Kotlin, the new language that came. But again, it will use most of the Java syntax. They've simplified the Java language, and that's called Kotlin. Okay, but it uses the same Java runtime, right? So yeah, if you know Java, it is very good. This is a pure Java language. A new language is there, Kotlin, but just start with Java now. And then you can quickly jump to Kotlin, or you can start with Kotlin also. It's I mean, they try to simplify the language. They say, for example, the switch statements or if statements, right? There are a lot of statements that they have simplified way of representing it. But end of the day, once it is compiled, it will become a bytecode which will be executed by the Android programming. The same ways. I mean, the language is different, but when you compile it, the output is the bytecode, which can be deployed in any Android.
Thank you, sir, for answering this question. And the next question from Mr. Rahul Bejam. Sir, can we develop an full run?
Drag and drop available in the sense you say, for example, you want to develop an app. Okay, so make sure that it is many people have developed a lot of open source apps are available. Okay, so if you think they are in line to it, then you can download that software. I mean, it's free to use. You can take it and add value. I mean, you can add feature to it, and then you can use that, right? So drag and drop is all about now. You need to find what you need from various sources of open source Android app code available. Take it and then use it, and bring it into your Android Studio, import it, and then try to create a new project and try to utilize those, or you start modifying the same project accordingly to your need, right? So It's not a drag drop. You need to find what you need, what kind of programming reference you need, or what kind of program you want to enhance, right? Program what is already developed by somebody and made as open source, right? So not all Android apps that you see in the market is available as open source. The code may not be available. Say, for example, if you ask WhatsApp's Android apps source code, you will not get it. You don't have it. But if you use a calculator, the phone app, or a messaging app, or the contacts app, the Google Assistant phone app, all these code are available, which you can go and check and download and add feature to it and install in your app, install in your phone.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the detailed explanation. And one more question from Mrs. Suganya Selvakumar. Explain about Android development on protecting files from hacking and jammer.
Can you repeat the question? How to?
Explain about Android development on protecting files from hacking and jammer.
Okay, so you mean to say you have a data in your phone, you want to protect it, right? So that's the idea. Maybe that's the question. So if you want to protect it, don't connect to internet. That's the first thing, very basic thing. If you connect to internet, it's most likely that, and make sure that you don't install other apps. When you install an app, it will ask, like, you want to share your file thing. That's the benefit of Android, right? So though you install an app, it is your response. You have a capability. We're given opportunity to decide whether that app can read your contacts data, read your media file, or read. It will ask the questions: Can it use Bluetooth? Can it use GPS? Can it use Wi-Fi? Is it using those? And you want to use it. You don't have option to select only, okay, the app being installed can use only GPS. You don't have a way. Maybe I'm looking for such thing, because the features that use GPS should not be only can be utilized. That kind of option should be available in Android App Store when I install, but that is not there. You need to do either all or no, right? That's the option you have. So deliberately read that and make sure that you don't give access to files, your local files, the media files that you have as part of installing your app. Many apps ask that, right? Say, for example, you install a Ghana app, right? So it has to have access to your files. Otherwise, it cannot read your local files in Play. Or, Ghana app is an internet-based thing. You play from internet only. But say, for example, if there are apps that which use to identify the audio or videos available in a local machine, right? So then you would be providing access to it. So that then if that app has got a underlying program which can connect and leak the data to the target server, it is highly likely possible. So better use the apps that comes with the phone. And if you really don't want to share your personal data, keep another phone for your entertainment purpose. Use it only for that. Where you don't keep your confidential data in that phone, right? So you can still use for other purpose, like you want to try things, you want to play games and all, right? So you can use a second phone. So the primary phone you could keep very simple. Use the apps what is already available with the phone, because with the phone apps are open source. So that means the source codes. There are apps that the manufacturer will write on their own. We don't know the source code of that manufacturer modified code, right? So he may also steal the information if at all possible, right? So yeah, we can take only very less decisions here. Yeah.
So thank you for answering that question.
Sir, Sarath Babu, sir.
Ma'am, I am audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Only, ma'am.
you check. Sarath Babu sir, yes, so happy and the session went on very well.